Hello everybody. In this time, I will talk about of my podcast is based on the study of the song of a speech focusing on a phonetic consonant and their articulation in the voiceless distinction. They are shape and a place of articulation, known in the same way the familiar symbols. They are move of articulation, vowels, and a diphthong. We will also know the sound parents of a language, knowing the sound system and a patterns such as phonology, phonics, distinction between the phones and long phones, phonotactic syllables, and a co-articulation effect such as a nasalization, elation, and a normal speech. All this with the sole purpose of being able to learn more about the song of a speech in its structure and a form of articulation. I will start with a phonetic. The general study of the characteristic of a speech sound is a called phonetic, or main interest will be in a articulatory phonetic, which in the study of how a speech sound are made or are articulated. Consonant. We will begin with the consonant. When we describe the articulation of a consonant, we are focused on a three feature: the voiceless distinction, the place of articulation, and the manner of articulation. The voice and voiceless sound. To make a consonant sound, we start with the air pushed out with the long shot through the trachea to the larynx. Inside the larynx are your vocal fold or vocal cords, which take to a basic position. A place of articulation. The most consonant sounds are produced by using the tongue and other part of the mouth to contract in some way the shape of the oral tract through which the air is passing. The terms used to describe many sounds are those that denote the place of articulation of the sound. There is the location inside the mouth at which the construction takes place. Familiar symbol. Many of the symbols used in a phonetic describe a consonant sound we will be familiar. For example, when we use B or B and we for the voice version, we use F and B for the labiodental, and the voiceless F is at the beginning and the voice B are the end of a pronunciation and at fine. Unfamiliar symbols, a summary of the place of articulation for each a consonant is presented in this table. I hope that you can see very well. And the manner of articulation and analysis of the manner of articulation of English is a consonant is presented in this table. We should note that in the sound analysis, stop are described as plosive, and what we call a glide here may be described as approximate or as semi-vowels. A consonant chart. Having described the most common consonant sound used by English speakers, we can summarize the information in the following chart. Along the top are the terms for a place of articulation, as well as a voiceless and a voiced. On the left hand side are the terms for a manner of articulation. Plural stop and flats is produced when the space between the vocal folds is closed completely very briefly, then are released. When they say the name, for example, Harry Potter, as if it didn't have the H or the T, or in the word borrow or borrel without that T part. Flats is represented by R. This sound is produced by the tongue tapping the alveolar ridge briefly. Vowels. While the consonant sounds are mostly articulated via obstruction in the vocal tract, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of air. They are all typical voiced. To describe vowel sound, we consider the way in which the tone influences the shape through which the air must pass. Diphthongs. In addition to single vowel sound, we regularly create sound that consist of a combination of two vowel sounds, known as a diphthong. When we produce diphthong or a vocal organ move from one vocalid position, for example, the sound hi or bye. The sound parent of a language. Phonology is a concern with the abstract or mental aspect of the sound in a language rather than with the actual physical articulation of a speech sound and phonemes. Each one of these meaning distinguishing sound is a language is described as phoneme. When we learn to use alphabetic writing, we are actually using the concept of the phoneme as the single stable sound that is represented by a single reading symbol. Phone and allophones. The crucial distinction between the phoneme and allophone is that as substituting one phoneme for another will be the result in a word with a different meaning, but as substituting allophone only result in a different pronunciation on the same word. For example, the phoneme T can be produced in a number of physical different ways. For example, in this chart, you can see in the first column phones, second allophones, and the minimal pairs and set. When two words such as a fan and then are identical in form except for a contrast in a one phoneme occurring in the same position, the two words are described as a minimal pairs. When a group of words can be different each one from the others via changing one a phoneme, they are described as a minimal set. Phonotactics. This type of exercise with minimal set also allows to see that there are a definite pattern in the type of sound combination permitted in a language. Syllables. Syllables must contain a vowel or a vowel-like sound, including a diphthong. The basic elements of the syllable are the one set followed by the rhyme. The rhyme consists of a vowel, which is treated as a nucleus plus any following consonant described as the coda. Co-articulation effect. It is quite unusual for a language to have a large consonant chlorus of a type just as described in English. Large chlorus may be reduced in a casual conventional speech, particularly if they occur in the middle of a word. This is one example of a process that is unusually discussed in terms of co-articulation effects. Nasalization. Vowels are also subject to assimilation. Elision, the normal pronunciation of you and me, that this sound of a word was not included in the transcription. Normal speech. This process of assimilation, nasalization, and elision occur in everyone's normal speech and should not be regarded as some type of a sloping of of a license in speaking. In conclusion, we must understand that the constant study of speech has led to great positive advance, whether in the depth and a voice distinction in the place of articulation and iris form. On many occasions, we do not know the structure of word, nor do we differentiate between a consonant and vowels, nor do we consider the function of the tongue, teeth, and mouth in order to produce each of the one sound of speech. For that reason, the study of speech, such as a phonetics and a phonics, are very important to know. I hope you like it and see you another time. Goodbye.